Now let's discuss margin and padding properties in this lecture. The margin is the space outside the border and padding is the space between the border and the content. Before adding margin and padding values, let me make some modifications to our existing web page. Let me first add the text align to be justify for both the paragraphs. So text align justify, let me copy this and paste it for the second paragraph as well. Then let me remove the background color for both the first and second paragraphs. So for this as well as this, let me remove the background color. Then let me make the same width for the border. So border width is enough and let it be 50 px. Okay, so let's see the difference now. Save, refresh. See, the paragraphs are now displayed like this. Okay, now let me try to add a padding value for both these paragraphs. So for the first paragraph, let me add a padding of 30 px. And for the second paragraph, that is the paragraph with the ID second, let me add a padding of 100 px. I am making two different values to see the difference. So save, refresh. See, you are seeing a gap between the border and the content, right? So here it is 40 px on all the sides and here it is 100 px on all the sides. So if you now see the width of the elements, the width is calculated by adding left and right borders, width of the content and also left and right padding values. Here as well the width is considered like adding the width of the content, width of the left and right padding values and width of the left and right borders. So as of now the width of this one will be 200 plus 5 plus 5 that is 10. So 210 plus 30 plus 30 that is 270. 210 plus 60 that is 270. And for the second one it will be 200 plus 50 plus 50 that is 300. Then plus 100 plus 100. So 300 plus 200 that will be 500. So the width of this one will be 500 and the width of this one will be 270. So by increasing the value of padding, there will be more space between the border and the content. Now you can set different values for all the four sides. So how you can do that? Suppose you want to set different values like padding top to be 20 px, padding right to be 50 px, padding bottom to be 100 px and padding left to be 150 px. Then the gap will be different for all the four sides. Let's see that. Let me refresh. See, here the gap is only 20 px, here it is 50, here it is 100 and here it is 150. So when we calculate the width, it should be considered like it is 50, 150, 200, 50, again 50. So the width will be 50 plus 150, 200, 200 plus 200, 400. Here again 50, 450 plus 50, 500. So when we calculate the width, we need to consider the width of the left padding, left border, width of the content, right padding and right border and also left margin and right margins. So here we are using longhand properties and if you want to set four different values, you can do it using padding itself. There instead of setting one value, you need to set four different values. That is the only difference and you need to set the values in the order top, right, bottom and left. So instead of using the longhand properties, you can use the shorthand property itself and set values for top padding, right padding, bottom padding and left padding in that particular order. So here we have specified different values for all the four sides of padding. Now let us set padding for the inline element as well. So for the span as well, instead of background, let me set border to be 2px solid blue. Okay. Now let's see the difference. Save. Let me refresh. This is the two span elements. Then let me add a padding. So padding, let me add a padding of 50 px and see how it appears. Let me save, refresh. See, you could see a gap between the border and the content. So here 50 px is the gap between the border and the content on all the four sides. Next, let us see the margin property. Actually, margin is the space outside the border, right? So let me set the margin for the first paragraph as, say, 50 px and for the second paragraph as 200 px. So let's see the difference now. Let me refresh. See, now you are seeing more gap here. That is outside the element, we are seeing more gap. Here as well we are seeing more gap because here we have set the value as 200 for the second paragraph and 50 for the first one. So here a gap of 50 px is visible and here it is 200 px. Now when it comes to the inline elements, you cannot have margin for the top and bottom. Margin will be applied only for the left and right sides. So suppose I specify a margin value of 200 px. What will happen? There will be a gap between the left and right sides, but there will be no gap on the top and bottom sides. Let's see that. Save. Let me refresh. See, we are seeing a gap here as well as here. This is the paragraph and this is a span element. So between this we are seeing a gap. Similarly, between this border and this span element we are seeing a gap. But we cannot see that gap between these two elements. That is, here it is a span element and here also there is a span element. Still we are not able to see a gap on the top or bottom sides. So suppose I specify another ID for the other one. Let it be, say, unique. Okay. And if I specify hash unique and set a margin of 200 px, what will happen? There will be a gap between this and this span element. Let me refresh. See, you are seeing a gap here. But when we set the margin value of 200 for the span element, we could not see such a gap between this span element and other elements, or between this span element and this element. Why? Because the margin will be applied only for the horizontal margins, that is for the left and right margins, and not for the top and bottom margins. That is the difference between how margin is applied to the block level elements and inline level elements. So even if you specify 4 different values for the margin, in case of a span element, it will not be applied. It will be applied only for the left and right margins. Now let me remove this margin for the span element and also this one and save, refresh. Now what will be the width of this element? Now the width will be the width of the left margin, width of the left border, width of the left padding, width of the content, width of the right padding, width of the right border, and also width of the right margin. Similarly, when we calculate the height of the element, we need to consider value of the top margin, value of the top border, value of the top padding, value of the height, value of the bottom padding, value of the bottom margin, value of the bottom border, and value of the bottom margin. So let me write it in a text file. Width is equal to left margin plus left border plus left padding plus width plus right padding plus right border plus right margin. Similarly, when it comes to height, it will be top margin, top border, top padding, height of the content area plus bottom padding plus bottom border plus bottom margin. So this will be considered when we calculate the width and height of an element. But in case of inline elements, you cannot set margin values for the top and bottom. You can only set margin values for the left and right sections. So we have seen different box model properties and how to use them in calculating the width and height of an element. You need to use margin, border, padding and width and height in calculating the width and height of an element.